Max was a small, golden dog with a big heart and an even bigger curiosity. His coat gleamed in the sunlight, and his fluffy tail wagged with excitement every time he ran through the meadow. He lived in a quiet town, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams. Though the town was peaceful, Max was never one to sit still. Every day, he explored the fields and forests, discovering new places to sniff and new friends to meet. Max loved the freedom of running through the tall grass, feeling the warm sun on his back and the breeze ruffling his fur. But on this particular afternoon, something felt different. As he trotted through the garden, chasing a butterfly, his sharp nose caught the scent of something unusual. It wasn't like anything he had smelled before. It was a mix of sweet flowers and fresh rain, and it seemed to be coming from behind the old oak tree. With a curious bark, Max scampered over to the tree and poked his nose into the thick grass at its base. There, lying half hidden in the soft dirt, was a collar. But not just any collar, a collar that shimmered in the sunlight, glowing with a soft, golden light. Max's eyes widened. He had never seen anything like it. His tail wagged faster as he carefully pawed at the collar. It was unlike anything he had ever touched. The fabric was smooth and cool, and the tiny charms hanging from it sparkled with a magical glow. He sniffed it carefully, but there was something strange about it, something that made him feel excited and a little nervous all at once. Without thinking twice, Max slipped the collar over his head. It fit perfectly, and as soon as it settled around his neck, he felt a strange tingling sensation spread through his body. His ears perked up, and a soft, mysterious voice whispered in his mind. "Help me, please." Max froze, his tail stilled in mid-wag. The voice wasn't coming from anywhere nearby. It was inside his head, like a quiet, urgent whisper. The voice was soft, but full of emotion, almost as if it was calling for help. Max glanced around, but the garden was as peaceful as ever. The butterflies fluttered by, the birds sang their songs, and the wind rustled through the trees. Nothing seemed out of place. Yet, the voice was so clear. "Who's there?" Max barked, looking around. The voice spoke again, this time more clearly, as if it had heard his question. "I'm Pip," it said. "I'm in trouble, and I need your help." Max tilted his head, puzzled. A talking voice. Was he imagining things? He had never heard of anything like this in all his adventures. But there was something about the voice, something that made Max feel he couldn't ignore it. "Where are you?" Max asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. "How can I help?" Pip's voice seemed to grow more urgent. "I'm far away, in a hidden forest. It's magical, and it's in trouble. There's a creature, a bad one, who's taken something very important, and without it, the forest will die. I need you to come and help me." Max's heart raced with excitement. A magical forest, a creature in trouble. This sounded like the kind of adventure he had always dreamed of. He looked down at the glowing collar around his neck and felt a surge of energy. It seemed like the collar was connected to this strange voice, and maybe, just maybe, it was the key to helping Pip. Max took a deep breath, his paws itching with excitement. "I'll help you, Pip," he barked, determination in his eyes. "Tell me what I need to do." The voice of Pip sounded relieved, but still filled with urgency. "Follow the path through the meadow. Trust your heart, and you'll find the way." Max's tail wagged furiously as he ran toward the edge of the garden. His adventure was about to begin, and he couldn't wait to see where the path would lead. As he dashed out of the garden and into the open meadow, the world around him seemed to shimmer with new possibilities. The sun was setting, casting a golden light across the fields. The air smelled fresh, and every leaf seemed to rustle with magic. Max had no idea what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. He was ready for whatever adventure awaited him. Max raced across the meadow, his paws flying over the soft grass. The wind ruffled his golden fur as he bounded through the open field, eager to begin the adventure that was unfolding before him. The voice of Pip, the little flying squirrel, had told him to trust his heart, and Max did just that. His heart was full of excitement and a little bit of nervousness, but he knew he was on the right path. As he ran, Max noticed something strange. The farther he traveled, the more the landscape seemed to change. The grass grew taller, and the air began to smell sweet, like flowers and fresh rain. The trees at the edge of the meadow grew taller, their branches stretching wide as if they were inviting Max into their world. He followed the path, which seemed to appear before him, as though the forest was guiding him. After a little while, Max came to a small, sparkling stream. It bubbled and gurgled happily, the water clear and cool. Max paused for a moment to take a drink, his tongue lapping up the refreshing water. As he looked around, he noticed the stream seemed to shimmer with a faint glow, like it was enchanted. How am I going to get across? Max thought aloud, looking at the stream's wide, fast-moving waters. Just then, a soft voice called out from behind him. Need some help? Max turned around to find a creature standing on the bank of the stream. It was a wise-looking owl, with big round eyes and feathers that shimmered like starlight. The owl was perched on a low branch of a tree, its head tilted to one side. My name's Ollie, the owl said in a deep, gentle voice. You look like you're on quite an adventure, little dog. Can I help you cross the stream? Max wagged his tail in excitement. Yes, please. I need to get to the magical forest to help a friend, but I'm not sure how to cross the water. Ollie blinked and smiled. I can help with that. Follow me. The owl flew gracefully down to a large rock in the middle of the stream and perched there. If you hop onto that rock, I'll guide you the rest of the way. Max carefully stepped into the stream, the cool water rushing around his paws. He leapt onto the rock, balancing carefully as the water swirled around him. Ollie flew ahead, guiding him step by step across the stream, hopping from rock to rock with ease. Together, they made it across the stream, and Ollie led Max up the path that continued through the forest. The trees seemed to grow even taller here, their branches weaving together like a canopy overhead. The sunlight filtered through the leaves in golden beams, casting playful shadows on the forest floor. Thank you for helping me, Ollie, Max said, his voice full of gratitude. Ollie smiled, his eyes twinkling. It's my pleasure, Max. The forest is a strange and magical place, but you've got the heart of an adventurer. You'll need all the help you can get. Max wagged his tail, feeling braver with each step. I'm ready for anything. I'm going to find Pip and stop the creature who stole the magical acorn. Ollie nodded thoughtfully. The path ahead won't be easy, but I believe in you, Max. And if you ever need help, just call on me. With that, the owl flew up into the trees, disappearing into the branches. Max continued on his way, now more determined than ever. He could feel the magic of the forest all around him, and he knew that this was just the beginning of his incredible adventure. As he walked, Max came across another surprise. A small, quick movement caught his eye, and he turned to see a little rabbit hopping out from behind a bush. The rabbit had soft, brown fur and big, twitching ears. She was small but seemed full of energy. Hey there, the rabbit called out, her voice bright and friendly. I saw you crossing the stream. You look like you're heading somewhere important. My name's Ruby. What's your name? Max stopped and wagged his tail. I'm Max. I'm on an adventure to help a friend, and I need to find a magical acorn before it's too late. Ruby's ears perked up. A magical acorn? That sounds like quite the quest. I know this forest pretty well. Maybe I can help. Max smiled. I'd be grateful for your help, Ruby. Ruby's nose twitched as she thought for a moment. I know a shortcut to the heart of the forest, where the creature who took the acorn is hiding. Follow me. Max followed Ruby through the dense forest, her quick hops guiding the way. They passed through thick ferns, over fallen logs, and under branches that seemed to bend and sway as if they were welcoming them. Max could feel the forest growing more magical the deeper they went. Strange flowers with glowing petals bloomed along the path, and tiny sparkling lights flitted through the air, like fireflies. Ruby led Max to a small clearing, where the trees parted to reveal a sparkling blue pool. The water was calm and still, and the surface glistened like a mirror. This is where we're close, Ruby said. The heart of the forest is just beyond here. But be careful, things aren't always what they seem. Max nodded, his excitement growing. He could feel that he was getting closer to the magical acorn, and to the creature who had stolen it. His heart was pounding with anticipation, but he knew one thing for sure. He wasn't going to give up. He was going to help Pip, and he was going to save the forest. Max and Ruby continued down the winding path, their footsteps light on the soft forest floor. The air was cool and crisp, filled with the earthy scent of moss and damp leaves. The deeper they ventured, the more magical the forest seemed. The trees grew closer together, their trunks twisted and gnarled, with glowing mushrooms clinging to their bark. Flowers with rainbow-colored petals swayed in the breeze, and the sound of distant, gentle chimes echoed through the trees, as if the forest itself was singing. Max's tail wagged with excitement. Everything about this place felt like an adventure waiting to happen. But there was something else, too, something more mysterious. He could feel that the forest was alive, watching him, waiting for them to discover its secrets. "Are we getting closer?" Max asked, his voice full of wonder as he gazed around. Ruby, who was hopping ahead, turned and smiled. "We're getting close to the heart of the forest, where all the magic begins. But the path isn't always easy. There are challenges ahead, and we'll need to work together to get through them." Max nodded eagerly, his ears perked up. "I'm ready. What do we need to do?" Ruby paused and looked ahead, her nose twitching as she sniffed the air. "We have to cross the misty hollow," she said softly. "It's a tricky place. The mist is thick and can confuse you. But don't worry. If we stick together and trust each other, we'll make it through." Max wasn't sure what to expect, but he trusted Ruby's word. Together, they pressed forward, and soon the forest grew darker, the trees thickening overhead to block out most of the light. A soft, swirling mist began to appear at their feet, creeping up like tiny tendrils of smoke. It was cool to the touch, and it made the air smell damp and strange. As they walked deeper into the mist, the world around them began to feel different. Max could no longer see the path clearly, and even the sounds of the forest seemed muffled, as if the mist was swallowing everything up. "Stay close to me, Max," Ruby called out from somewhere in the mist, her voice soft and reassuring. "Don't let the mist trick you. It can make things look strange, but if we trust each other, we'll be okay." Max's heart was racing a little as the mist thickened around them. The trees seemed to twist and change shape in the fog, and strange shadows darted just beyond his vision. Every now and then, he thought he saw a glowing pair of eyes watching him from the mist. But whenever he turned, nothing was there. "Ruby, are you still there?" Max called out, his voice feeling small in the heavy air. "Right here," Ruby's voice answered, close by. "The mist can make it hard to see, but we're getting through it. Keep walking, Max, and keep following my voice." Max took a deep breath and kept moving forward. His paws felt heavy in the mist, but he focused on Ruby's voice, her bright, cheerful tone guiding him through the fog. Step by step, they moved further into the hollow. Suddenly, the mist parted just enough for Max to see something strange ahead, two glowing eyes, much larger than any creature he had ever seen. They blinked slowly, then disappeared back into the fog. Max froze. "Ruby," he whispered urgently. "Did you see that?" Ruby's voice came through the mist, calm and steady. "Yes, I saw it. It's the Hollow Keeper, a magical creature who guards the misty hollow. Don't be afraid, Max. He's just testing us. If we can stay focused and not get scared, we'll pass through." Max's heart thudded in his chest, but he didn't want to let his fear take over. He nodded and took a deep breath, pushing forward. His eyes strained to see through the thick mist, but it was hard to make out anything clearly. The mist swirled again, and suddenly, the ground beneath Max's paws shifted. He stumbled, almost losing his balance. Ruby leapt forward, her quick paws catching Max's and steadying him. "Stay close," she said, her voice firm. "The Hollow Keeper is trying to confuse us, but we'll be fine. Just stay on the path I'm leading you down, and trust me." Max nodded, feeling a surge of confidence in Ruby's words. He focused on her every movement, following her light footsteps through the mist. They moved slowly, carefully, avoiding the strange, glowing eyes that seemed to appear at random. The Hollow Keeper was watching him, but Max refused to let the mist trick him. He trusted Ruby, and that was all that mattered. After what felt like an eternity, the mist began to lift. The trees around them started to clear, and Max could see the path ahead once again. The sun's light filtered through the canopy above, casting beams of gold on the forest floor. The eerie feeling that had surrounded them seemed to fade, and the air felt lighter. Ruby stopped and turned to Max with a smile. "We made it. The misty hollow is behind us. Now we're closer to the heart of the forest." Max let out a relieved sigh. "That was amazing, but also kind of scary. I'm glad we made it through." Ruby laughed softly. "It's all part of the adventure, Max. But we've still got more to go. We're almost there." Max's tail wagged with excitement. He had made it through the misty hollow, and he was getting closer to the magical acorn. The forest was full of surprises, but he felt more ready than ever to face whatever came next.